Hello everyone, today I will continue telling you the story of LyTuDiep. I hope you enjoy the video. LyTuDiep had dreamed of opening a clean, organic vegetable and fruit shop for a very long time, a small, cozy store filled with bamboo baskets, the scent of fresh soil, bundles of crisp green mustard greens, and trays of vibrant fruits she grew with her own hands. But deep down, she understood that this dream was still far away, and to reach it, she needed to be steadier, more skillful, and stronger. And so, day after day, she worked tirelessly. Each morning, she went out to the garden early, her hands still cold, but her heart warm with hope for the future. She carefully tended each vegetable bed, noting how the soil changed with the weather, how the plants reacted to sunlight and water. At noon, when she brought her produce to the market, she didn't just sell, she observed. Who bought the most, who preferred which vegetables, what customers needed, what the market lacked. Every comment from buyers, even the briefest one, she remembered like a lesson. At night, after Beanie had fallen asleep, LyTuDiep sat at her little table in the new house, opened her old laptop, and continued learning about business, about preserving produce, about arranging a storefront to attract customers. Some nights she was so sleepy that her eyes burned, but when she thought of the shop she dreamed of, she instantly woke up again. She knew that the day she opened her store, she could not afford to be unprepared. She wanted to walk into that place with confidence, the dream she had built step by step. She wanted to do everything carefully, correctly, and peacefully, because it wasn't just work. It was a new life for her and her child. And although the dream was still far away, each day LyTuDiep felt herself getting a little closer. During those hard-working days, she didn't know that someone else was quietly watching her progress, James' mother. From the first time she met LyTuDiep at the new house, she saw genuineness, resilience, and a rare strength in a young woman carrying so much on her shoulders. But more than that, she saw how deeply LyTuDiep loved Beanie, a love that made her smile and think to herself, this girl deserves a better life. One afternoon, while visiting the two of them, she happened to notice a small notebook on the table. While LyTuDiep was busy making tea, she gently flipped through a few pages. Inside were neat handwritten notes, plans for the shop, the amount of money she needed to save, decoration ideas, produce sources, even the name of the future store. Every page was a dream built with hard work. She closed the notebook, her heart softening. She didn't say anything, just watched LyTuDiep laughing with Beanie in the kitchen, and in her heart, she made a decision. From that day on, she quietly started researching wooden shelves, bamboo baskets, and small refrigeration units for organic vegetables. She even asked her friends to look for affordable shop spaces near residential areas, places where LyTuDiep could start without too much cost. Every time she found something suitable, she saved the information carefully, waiting for the right time. James also noticed her change. One day he asked, "Mom, why are you looking for rental spaces?" She only smiled. "Just something. I'll tell you later." James didn't understand, but he trusted his mother. He knew she never acted without reason. Meanwhile, LyTuDiep kept working diligently, completely unaware that someone was gently supporting her dream from behind the scenes. One sunny afternoon, while she and Beanie were sorting vegetables in the backyard, James' mother arrived with a bag of fruit and a small envelope. She sat beside LyTuDiep and spoke softly. "Diep, I have something to tell you." LyTuDiep looked up, surprised. The older woman placed the envelope on the wooden table. "Go ahead and open it." Inside was not money, but a neatly printed packet, a list of suitable shop spaces, simple store layout designs, suggestions for equipment suppliers. Everything was marked with red pen, along with a handwritten note. "If you want to pursue your dream, I want to help you." LyTuDiep froze, her eyes stinging. She could hardly believe it, someone who was once a stranger now supporting her like a mother. Me, why would you?" she stammered. The older woman gently held her hand. "Because you deserve a good future. And I believe you can do it." At that moment, LyTuDiep burst into tears, moved, overwhelmed, and finally realizing that from today on, she no longer had to fight alone. After reading through all the documents James' mother had given her, LyTuDiep held them tightly against her chest as if she were holding an entire future in her arms. That night, she could hardly sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw herself standing inside her own clean-produced shop, the smell of soil, the scent of freshly cut vegetables, the sound of Beanie running around calling, "Mom, look at me." It all felt like a dream too beautiful to touch. But the next morning, when sunlight filtered through the new curtains of her home, she knew it was time to turn that dream into reality. LyTuDiep opened her planning notebook and wrote in big letters, "Starting preparation day, today." That morning, she arranged to meet with James and his mother to view 3 of the listed rental spaces. On the way, she gripped the strap of her bag tightly, eyes looking out the window with nervous anticipation. "Don't worry," James' mother said in a soothing voice. "We'll look at each place. If it doesn't fit, we keep searching. Big dreams need time to find the right beginning." James walked beside them, relaxed but always keeping an eye on LyTuDiep. "With Mom and me here, you don't need to be afraid of anything." His words were soft, yet they warmed her heart instantly. The 3 of them visited the first space, a small shop at the corner of a busy market. Lots of foot traffic, but the interior was a bit old. Standing in the empty room, LyTuDiep closed her eyes and imagined vibrant green produce displayed at the front. But when she opened her eyes again, she shook her head. "This place is too dark. Vegetables need a lot of natural light." James' mother nodded without pressuring her. "You're right. Let's look at the second one." The second space was brighter and more spacious, but the rent was high. LyTuDiep's expression grew uncertain. James glanced at her and understood immediately. "It's okay. We still have more options." Then they arrived at the third place, an old shop that had been closed for months, and LyTuDiep's eyes lit up at once. Large glass doors, sunlight shining directly in during the morning, and even a tiny front patio where she could place some decorative vegetable pots. Inside, it was dusty but simple and easy to fix up. She stepped inside slowly, as if walking into her own future. "Do you like this one?" James' mother asked gently. LyTuDiep turned around, eyes glistening. "Yes. I really do. It feels like this place has been waiting for me." James laughed softly. "Then let's get started." In that moment, LyTuDiep felt her heart swell with happiness. She had never imagined that one day, her dream would be something others walked alongside her to build. That afternoon, she began sketching out the layout of the shop. Leafy greens on the left. Fresh fruits on the right. Scale and cashier near the entrance. A small corner for Beanie to play while accompanying her mother. James' mother looked at the sketch and smiled. "You're good. Everything you do is so organized." James stood behind her, glancing between the sketch and the determined look on her face. "From now on, if anything feels too hard, tell me. You don't have to be strong alone anymore." LyTuDiep lowered her head, her eyelashes trembling. For the first time in her life, she realized one thing clearly. Her dream was no longer far away. It was within reach. The next day, she brought the key to her newly rented shop. When the glass door opened with a soft click, a layer of dust rose gently, but not even that could hide the brightness and potential of the space. She stood in the middle of the empty room, took a deep breath, the smell of old wood, sunlight, and a beginning. "All right, let's start." She whispered it to herself like a declaration. In the morning, James arrived with toolboxes and a pair of new work gloves for her. "Wear these. If not, your hands will get all scratched." He gently took her hand and helped her put on the gloves as if he were helping someone precious. LyTuDiep blushed slightly but nodded. "Thank you. I can do it myself now." James' mother arrived shortly afterward, carrying fabric gloves and cleaning cloths. "The 3 of us should divide the work. By the weekend, we need to start seeing the shape of the store." Her enthusiasm was contagious, as if the shop were her own dream too. LyTuDiep took on the task of cleaning and organizing the space. She knelt down to scrub every corner of the wall, every wooden plank. It was tiring, yes, but as the floor slowly grew brighter, she felt a childlike joy bubbling in her chest. Beanie came along as well. At first, she scribbled drawings, but soon she ran over to help. "Mom, let me clean this spot. I'm really good at it." LyTuDiep laughed. "Okay, you're the best helper. But clean gently or your cheeks will get red." While she cleaned, James stood on a ladder replacing burnt-out light bulbs. When the new lights flicked on, a warm golden glow filled the space. LyTuDiep looked up, the light framed James' focused expression as he tightened a screw, and for a moment she froze, realizing for the first time how gentle and trustworthy he was. James' mother glanced at her son and chuckled softly. "You always have to be that careful. Later, when you help Diep, she'll feel." James looked down, eyes drifting immediately toward LyTuDiep. "I just want everything here to be the best." His words made her heart flutter. She wasn't sure if it was because of the shop or because of the person who said them. By noon, they spread a mat across the floor and shared the packed lunches James' mother had brought. Beanie ran around, curious about everything. "Mom, tomorrow can I arrange the fruits?" she shouted excitedly. LyTuDiep laughed. "Sure, but only if you eat properly first." The simple lunch felt strangely warm. Never before had LyTuDiep felt like she truly belonged somewhere, until now. In the afternoon, they began assembling the wooden shelves. James lifted the heavy boards while LyTuDiep held the nails and the drill. Her hands trembled a little, and the drill suddenly slipped, nearly hitting her fingers. James reacted instantly, grabbing the drill, his voice sharp with worry. "What are you doing? That's dangerous. Let me handle this, move back a little." She flushed with embarrassment. "I just wanted to try." James softened his voice, though the worry remained in his eyes. "If you want to try, let me teach you. I can't relax if you do it alone." For the first time, LyTuDiep felt a silent, unspoken kind of care. By sunset, the first wooden shelf stood completed. She stepped back, her eyes shining. "It's beautiful. Tomorrow let's work on the second one." James smiled beside her. "Yeah. One step at a time. No rush. You're doing great." From a distance, James' mother watched the scene, the three of them working side by side, and her eyes shimmered with genuine joy. That evening, when they locked the shop door, LyTuDiep turned back for one last look. It was no longer just an empty room. It had begun to breathe, with her effort, James' mother's support, and the warm presence of James himself. A shop was slowly taking shape, and at the same time, something else was quietly taking root in LyTuDiep's heart. In the following days, the little shop gradually took on a whole new look. Every morning, LyTuDiep woke up early to prepare breakfast for Beanie, then the two of them headed to the shop together, accompanied by the child's cheerful chatter. "Mom's shop is even prettier than yesterday." Beanie ran ahead, proudly showing off the new hair ribbon her mother had braided for her. That innocent sentence was enough to soften LyTuDiep's heart and give her even more strength to keep going. Today was the big decorating day, an important step to give the clean produce shop the exact spirit she had dreamed of: fresh, clean, rustic, welcoming. James arrived very early, sleeves of his shirt rolled up, looking every bit like the main handyman. His mother came carrying a basket full of flowers and several large leafy plants. "A veggie shop without plants for decoration would look lifeless," she said as she carefully set each pot down. LyTuDiep looked around, feeling something swelling quietly in her chest. The shop wasn't just getting prettier, it was truly starting to carry the imprint of a family. She opened her sketch of the layout and began assigning tasks. Main wall, hang the wooden sign with the shop's name. Left corner, place the shelves for leafy greens. Right corner, arrange fruits by color and by season. Cashier counter, small, but clean and bright. Little corner by the window, reserved for Beanie to play or help her mom. James listened and laughed. "I think you're totally qualified to be a director." LyTuDiep blushed, but she couldn't deny that his compliment made her feel more confident. The morning passed in the sounds of sawing wood, dragging furniture, and the laughter of Beanie running around with her scarf turned into a superhero cape. James and LyTuDiep worked together to hang the shop sign on the wall. It was a light brown wooden board with beautifully engraved letters that James' mother had ordered especially for her. When the board was finally fixed in place, LyTuDiep stepped back a few paces, her eyes stinging. Team Rao Sach Beanie, Fresh Garden. It was the very name she had written in her planning notebook months before, now made real. Standing behind her, James unconsciously rested a hand on her shoulder. Congratulations, the first step is done. She turned to him, her smile trembling but radiant. It's thanks to everyone. If it were just me, I'd never have dared to come this far. James answered softly, his gaze warm and steady. No one does everything alone forever. And I want to be here, walking with you. LyTuDiep's heart skipped, a feeling both strange and somehow familiar. In the afternoon, the three of them did a trial display of vegetables on the shelves. Bundles of green mustard, crisp lettuce, red tomatoes, fresh corn, purple sweet potatoes, all neatly arranged by color. Even though it was just a test, the shop already seemed to burst with life. James' mother looked around, eyes shining with pride. Tomorrow we'll hang some little lanterns at the front, then it'll be perfect. This place looks just like those high-end organic shops in the city. LyTuDiep laughed, her cheeks flushing. I only wanted it to be simple, you know, just warm and close to people. Simple but still beautiful, James cut in, because this shop is yours. As evening fell, the three of them stood outside, watching the warm yellow light shining through the glass front. The scene was so cozy that LyTuDiep had to raise her hand to her mouth to hold back her emotions. Tomorrow, we'll be almost completely done, she said, her voice trembling softly from happiness. James stood beside her, his hand instinctively hovering near her back as if to shield her. Yeah. And after that, is the grand opening. LyTuDiep swallowed hard. She had never thought that day would come so soon. But standing there in the glow of the lights, with these two people by her side, she knew. All the beautiful things were beginning to unfold. The opening day finally came, so quickly that even LyTuDiep could hardly believe it. That morning, she woke up earlier than usual, her heart pounding with nervous excitement. Beanie ran around the house, asking nonstop. Has anyone bought Mom's vegetables yet? Will you let me stand by the fruit section, Mom? LyTuDiep laughed, smoothing her daughter's hair. Hold on, sweetheart, let Mommy get dressed first. Even as she said it, her hands were trembling slightly as she fastened each button. This was the first day of a lifelong dream, how could she not be nervous? When they arrived at the shop, LyTuDiep froze. In front of her, a long row of green and white balloons was strung along the signboard. Ribbons fluttered gently in the wind. On the ground were fresh flower stands with little cards. Wishing you a prosperous opening, from James' mother. Wishing you all success, James. Miss Diep, you can do it, Beanie. This one was scribbled messily but was unbelievably adorable. LyTuDiep raised a hand to her mouth, eyes filling with tears. When did you all do this? James' mother stepped out from inside the shop, her voice as bright as a child's. You thought I'd let you open all by yourself? As far as I'm concerned, this shop is mine too. James stood behind her, holding a small gift bag hidden behind his back. Do you like it? He asked, his voice low and strangely warm. LyTuDiep nodded again and again, lips trembling. It's beautiful, even better than I imagined. The grand opening turned out to be busier than she had ever expected. Neighbors came in crowds, some just to have a look, others to show support by buying the first bundles of vegetables. Many people curiously asked, Are these homegrown? Is this fruit really clean? This shop looks so cute. LyTuDiep answered while writing down orders, hands full but her heart bursting with pride. Beanie stood beside her, wearing a little hat, greeting customers with a beaming smile. My mom's veggies are really yummy, you should buy some. Her words made everyone laugh and often persuaded them to grab a few extra apples or another bunch of greens, if only to support the little marketing assistant. Around midday, a small group of familiar faces appeared, the aunties and uncles from the old market where she used to sell vegetables by the basket. They brought a big gift basket filled with produce they had grown themselves. "Diep, we're so happy for you," one of the women said, her voice thick with emotion. "We saw how hard things were for you before. Seeing you open a shop now, it makes us really proud." This time, LyTuDiep couldn't hold back anymore. She burst into tears right there at the entrance. She hugged each of them, her tears falling from a gratitude too deep for words. But the biggest surprise came from James. When the crowd finally thinned out, he stepped forward and handed her the small bag he had been holding that morning. "Open it," he said. Inside was a wooden nameplate, delicately engraved. Shop owner, LyTuDiep. Managing partner, James. And right below, in small handwritten letters, "If you'll let me." LyTuDiep looked up, eyes wide, her heart pounding wildly. What do you mean?" James looked at her, his gaze calm but full of feeling. "I want to walk this path with you, not just today, but for the long haul. I want to help you grow this shop, and, if possible, I want to be by your side, with you and your little girl." The last sentence made her whole body freeze. Behind them, James' mother smiled quietly, and Beanie called out, "Can Uncle James be my second daddy, Mom?" Everyone laughed. As for LyTuDiep, her face flushed red as she held the nameplate with trembling hands. She didn't answer right away, but the shine in her eyes and her tearful, smiling face were already the most beautiful answer. By the end of the day, when all the customers had gone, LyTuDiep stood in front of the shop, looking up at the sign glowing under the warm yellow light. James stood beside her, not touching her, but close enough that their breaths seemed to blend. "Diep. Yes. Your first day was a success." She pressed her lips together, her voice trembling but full of joy. "Because I had everyone with me." James glanced at her, his eyes so gentle that she had to look away, because if she met that gaze any longer, she felt like her heart wouldn't be able to take it. The opening day ended with smiles, tears of happiness, and a quiet but undeniable change. It wasn't just the shop that had opened. LyTuDiep's heart had opened too.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người, mình vừa mới tìm một bài thơ. Bài thơ này thì ngày xưa chúng ta có học ở tiểu học, mình cũng không nhớ rõ là lớp mấy nữa. Bài thơ tên là Mẹ. Lặng rồi cả tiếng con ve cũng mệt vì hè nắng oi. Nhà em vẫn tiếng à ơi, kẹo cả tiếng võng, mẹ ngồi mẹ ru. Lời ru có gió mùa thu, bàn tay mẹ quạt mẹ đưa gió về. Những ngôi sao thức ngoài kia chẳng bằng mẹ đã thức vì chúng con. Đêm nay con ngủ giấc tròn, mẹ là ngọn gió của con suốt đời. Bài này thì chúng ta học ở hồi lớp mấy rồi đấy, mà mình cũng không nhớ nữa. Và còn rất là nhiều bài thơ khác. Ở nhà em có mẹ, bao việc mẹ phải lo. Thức khuya mà dậy sớm, mẹ chăm công việc nhà. Thế mà cứ đúng giờ mẹ gọi em thức dậy, nhắc đầu tóc gọn gàng, việc nào vào việc ấy. Để em kịp đến trường, mẹ đã sinh ra em. Vì em mà vất vả, thương mẹ em thầm hứa, ngoan ngoãn và giỏi giang. Tạm biệt mọi người.